funding for this program was provided by a grant from Exxon Corporation, by this station and other public television stations.
Good day. How are you this beautiful day? Isn't this a beautiful morning? Very. Hey, Seaposs, how's this? That's an awfully elegant pose, but is all that elegance necessary? Why not? You and I work for Maricheks, don't we? We're not a butcher or an ironmonger's. We're a perfumery. When I ride my bike, people see what Maricheks like. So I think it's very important that I look my best.
And how many people did you run over today?
Not one.
Well, it's early.
Here comes Miss Ritter.
Ah.
She spent the night with Mr. Kadai.
Again?
Well, they always kiss goodbye at the newsagents. Then she walks around the square to make us think she's been home.
Good morning.
Good day.
How are you this glorious day? Have you seen a lovelier morning?
Never.
It's too nice a day to be inside shuffling soap. I have no more energy whatsoever. Anybody mind if I take the day off? Ah, Pat, why aren't you old enough to take me away from all this?
I'm old enough.
And then marry me. And I can hand in my notice.
Here's Mr. Kadai.
Good morning.
Good day.
How are you this radiant day? What a rare, magnificent morning.
Is it?
Good morning, my dear. How are you this ravishing day? Do you know you've never looked more exquisite?
Thank you, kind sir.
What a lovely dress.
It's the same one as she had on yesterday, Mr. Kadai.
Oh, Mr. Novak.
Good morning.
Good day.
Isn't that a beautiful sky? What a perfect summer of summer weather. It's too nice a day to be indoors counting out change. What a waste of holiday weather. All together, let's all run away.
Wonder what would happen if we did just run away.
We could leave a note that says we won't be in today. Why not have a picnic?
I could bring my wife's preserves. Champagne might be nice with hot or not. It's too nice to say.
It's nothing inside us.
We won't be getting out.
Won't be getting out
Sometime. It's so nice to be floating under a tree.
So we'll all be out of a job.
If it costs that much to get suntan,
I'll stay untanned.
Pale but solvent.
A picnic. A picnic.
Oh,
Well, Mr. Novak,
Was the chicken the usual success? Last night, your weekly dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Maricek.
Oh.
Did you talk to Mr. Maricek about replacing Miss Horvath?
Oh, I mentioned it.
And?
Well, absolutely not. After all, with business the way it's been.
Yes, but he's bound to pick up now that Hammersmith is closed.
Have you ever tried their hand cream?
No. I wonder if it's any good.
Good? My dear woman, my wife has been using Maricek's hand cream for years. In fact, I often wonder, why are their products always so much better than anyone else's?
You should know, Mr. Maricek.
Good morning, Mr. Maricek.
Good day.
Good day, madam. May I help you?
Good day, madam. May I help you?
Good day, madam. May I help you?
I would like to see a
Face like yours.
dress.
But we carry.
Do you have a cream for cherry red skin?
Oh, I see what you mean. You will look enchanting.
Dry lips.
Glamorous as gobble. Big mouth. I would recommend a bath today.
On sale, did you say?
Put a little lipstick on your nose twice.
Morning and evening. And a little brush for combing my
Teeth. Absolutely.
Wrap it up and send it. Thank you so much.
Is there something else before you go?
Yes, I could also use a bottle of hair.
We have a splendid, here's an inexpensive perfume called Rat.
I've never used one.
If you want to clip your earlobes, you may want to dye your hangnails. Dab a little on your husband's face.
Won't he be surprised? I would like an eyebrow under my chin. There's an idea
Madam, I am filled with very soft soap.
that should do it. Wrap it up and send it. Thank you so much.
Always such a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you, madam. Please call again. Do call again, madam. Well, it looks as though business is picking up.
That is that. I got another letter today.
From her? Or did she enclose a snapshot this time?
It's so beautiful, I've got to show it to you.
Did she say anything about meeting you face to face?
Oh, well, we're going to, very soon. Just listen to this. Dear friend, yesterday morning I ran through the rain to the post office. I had the key in my hand, the key to box 1433. Trembling, I opened the door and reached inside. And oh, my dear friend, there you were. I took you out, held you in my hand and looked at you for a moment. Then I sat down, gently opened you and read you.
Mr. Seaforth, would you spare me one of your stomach pills?
Oh, certainly, Mr. Maricek.
Thank you, Mr. Seaforth. You know whose fault this is? Mr. Novak's. Every time he comes to dinner, Mrs. Maricek tries to fatten him up. She has the cook make dumplings, cream gravy, and what happens? He stays thin and I get heartburn.
Sorry, Mr. Maricek.
George, it's time you were married. Haven't you had enough of living in furnished rooms and running around to cabarets and dance halls?
Mr. Maricek, I can't dance. I've never been to a dance.
Oh, I know what you bachelors are like. Remember, I was once one myself. Ah, good. Here they are.
What?
A little surprise for you.
What is it?
A genuine leather box. And wait. Listen. Isn't that beautiful? Here, you try.
What else does it do?
What do you mean, what else? It's a genuine leather musical cigarette box. And only 10 and 7. How's that for a bargain?
But who'll buy it?
I can see you're in a difficult mood today. Listen, George, I'll make you a bet. I'll bet you 10 and 7 that we sell the first of those boxes within 1 hour.
I don't want to take your money.
10 and 7, 1 hour, no more, no less. Is it a bet?
Well,
He's not so confident now.
it's a bet.
You will pay through the nose. You'll pay through the nose. Good day, madam. May I help you?
I'd like a large tube of Lovely Lady.
Lovely lady, cold cream. Certainly, madam. Isn't that a lovely melody?
Is 7 and 4 your largest size, or have you a larger?
Oh, we also have a 9 and 6.
I'd like to see it.
This is a musical cigarette box.
Do you keep Flowers of Spring in the 1-ounce bottle?
The 1 ounce bottle. Certainly. Mr. Seaparts, your customer?
Yes, sir. Please, madam, sit down.
Good day, madam. May I help you?
Who do I see about returning a jar of sour face cream?
Oh, Mr. Kodai will take good care of you.
I certainly hope so.
Mr. Kodai?
Yes, sir. Good day, madam. May I help you?
No. Yes.
We have a complete stock of perfumes, soap, shampoos,
No.
bath oils, bath salts,
No.
cold creams, face creams, nail polishes,
No.
brushes, hard, soft, and medium.
No.
Toilet water. There's a special offer for 1 week only on Roses of Italy. I'll show it to you.
Thursday? Good. I'll call in for it.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you, madam. Please call again. Do call again, madam.
Now, let me spray a little on your hand.
No.
No?
Actually, you see, I don't want to buy any. Not today. I don't want to buy anything. Is Mr. Marichek here?
He's in his office.
I'd like to speak to him, please.
Or perhaps I can help you.
No, I don't think so.
He's quite busy.
Then I'll wait. I don't mind, really. I'll just sit here quietly and wait till he's free.
Very well. Will you give me your name, please?
Balash. Amalia Balash.
Very well, Miss Balash. I'll tell him you're here.
Oh, just one thing. Miss Horvath, the one who used to work here, she's having a baby. She hasn't been replaced yet, has she?
Are you looking for a post?
No. Well, I suppose yes, you might say that. I'm a very good sales girl. I worked at Hammersmith's for 5 years, and they were always very satisfied with me. I have a letter from Mr. Hammersmith.
Well, I'm sure you have. Unfortunately, we're not replacing Miss Horvath at the moment, if you'd care to leave your name.
Balash. Amalia Balash.
Then, if anything should come up.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Marichek, please.
Well, I'm afraid if it's only about a job.
Please.
I'm sorry. It just can't be done.
What can't be done? At Marichek's, nothing is impossible. Perhaps I can help you?
She wants a job.
What?
I know this business inside out. I worked at Hammersmith.
I'm sorry.
I have a letter from Mr. Hammersmith himself.
It's out of the question.
I'm honest, dependable, dedicated.
If you'll excuse me.
Really, I am. I'm a very good sales girl.
Why couldn't you have handled this?
Aren't these marvelous boxes? And only 10 and 7, can you imagine?
What are they for?
Chocolates.
Chocolate.
Oh, yes, madam. It's the latest thing. And just look at that workmanship.
A musical chocolate box.
Why, certainly, madam. It combines the 3 elements of good taste. Attractive to the eye, attractive to the ear, and functional.
How functional?
How? Let me tell you, madam, this little box has been a lifesaver to many, many women. They have a slight tendency to overweight. And don't we all? We sit at home reading a good book or listening to a symphony, and without realizing it, our hand slips into the chocolate box. We become indiscreet, eating sweet after sweet, though we all know too well where that may lead. So this box was designed with the two of us in mind, as the kind of reminder we need. When we raise the lid, the music plays like a disapproving nod. And it sings in your ear, no more chocolates, my dear. In a way, it's a little like the voice of God.
Wonderful. I'll definitely take one.
Thank you, madam.
If you'll step this way, madam. That will be 3.8 for the large dark face cream.
And 10 and 7 for the box. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you.
You have the job, Miss...
Ballash. Amalia Ballash.
Miss Sallis, welcome to Masteroff. And now, Mr. Novak, if you please.
Putting a 4, putting a 5, 15. Your practice, madam.
Thank you, madam. Please call again. Do call again, madam.
Dear friend, when the day brings petty aggravations and my poor frayed nerves are all askew, I forget these unimportant matters, pouring out my hopes and dreams to you. As I sit here looking out my window, I can see the summer disappear. Oh, dear friend, all at once, autumn's here.
Good morning, Miss Ritter.
Oh, good morning, Alfred.
Well, look. Autumn.
Yes, autumn.
Good morning, Ilona. Here you are on this first October day. The quintessence of autumn. I hope you forgive me about our little misunderstanding last night. I can't bear it when we quarrel. Can you, darling? Truthfully.
Go to hell.
Dear friend, with November just around the corner, I've a feeling you may also share. Do you feel an undertone of discord and a sense of tension in the air?
Mr. Novak, must that pavement always be covered with leaves?
If it weren't for your endearing letters, I'd be flying south with all the geese. By the way, have you read War and Peace?
Good morning, Mr. Novak.
Oh, I see you're on time today, Miss Ballash. Congratulations.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, but I'm not disappointed, far from it. Let's call it surprised.
They always argue. Well, why is that?
It's a simple chemical reaction. You see, sometimes when people like each other very much...
They like each other.
Well, I think so.
Well, don't you think we should tell them?
I'll have my boy. They'd never believe us.
Look! Winter!
Dear friend, have you set your calendar for Tuesday, when we bring this chapter to a close? When I meet my lady of the letters, who puts tiny faces in her O's?
In the freezing weather of December, I'll be warmly waiting for days. Until then, how she goes. Oh, Lord, I'm late for work. I'm late. Good morning. Am I very late? Has Mr. Novak said anything? Where is he?
In the workroom.
Oh.
Morning, Miss Sallis.
He didn't shout at me. What's wrong with him? He's got other things on his mind. Mr. Marichek's very upset. Again? Yeah, and you know who gets the worst of it.
Mr. Novak,
Yes, sir?
you see that?
Yes, sir, a tube of cold cream.
Here, let's see you try it.
That came off.
I was under the impression that it was your responsibility to see that these tubes are correctly filled. That responsibility is too much for you, Mr. Novak.
Mr. Marichek,
Or is there something wrong with the tubes? Are they defective?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Then it wouldn't be asking too much for the cream to come out the right end.
No, it wouldn't be asking too much.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. That's all I wanted to know.
Mr. Novak. Mr. Novak. Oh, your coat, you've still got some cream on it.
Thank you, Ladislav.
Oh, you're so nervous. I can feel you vibrating.
It's because I'm meeting her tonight.
What, the letter girl? You mean face-to-face at last?
Face to face at last.
Well, let's hope she lives up to your expectations.
Ladislav, can I tell you something? I hope she doesn't.
Huh?
I mean, I hope she isn't as beautiful as I think she is or as brilliant as I think she is, because what will she think of me? A very ordinary clerk in a very ordinary shop and a terrible liar.
Lie?
The things I wrote in the letters.
You lied?
Well, I certainly exaggerated.
Oh, well, no wonder you're vibrating.
I'm nervous and upset because this girl I've never met, I get to meet tonight at 8. I'm taking her for dinner at a charming old cafe, but who can eat tonight at 8? It's early in the morning and our date is not till 8 o'clock tonight, and yet already I can see what a nightmare this whole day will be. I haven't slept a wink, I only think of our approaching tete-a-tete tonight at 8. I feel a combination of depression and elation. What a state to wait till 8. 3 more minutes, 2 more seconds, 10 more hours to go. In spite of what I've written, she may not be very smitten, and my hopes perhaps will all collapse kaput tonight at 8. I wish I knew exactly how I'll act and what will happen when we dine tonight at 8. I know I'll drop the silverware, but will I spill the water or the wine tonight at 8? Tonight I'll walk right up and sit right down beside the smartest girl in town, and then it's anybody's guess. More and more I'm breathing less and less. In my imagination, I can hear our conversation taking shape tonight at 8. I'll sit there saying absolutely nothing, or I'll jabber like an ape tonight at 8. 2 more minutes, 3 more seconds, 10 more hours to go. I'll know when this is done, if something's ended or begun, and if it goes all right, who knows, I might propose tonight at 8.
This is nice. I love Christmas wrapping.
Certainly makes a pleasant change. Do you know, for the past month, I've done practically nothing but fill those wretched tubes of lovely lady.
Well, what do you care? You're in love with some nice, eligible young man, and you're going to see him tonight.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's he like? Come on, tell us. You know I love to suffer.
Well,
Is he tall?
so-so.
So-so 6 feet, so-so 5 feet?
I never measured.
Colour of hair and colour of eyes?
Sandy hair. Not really light, not really dark.
And the eyes?
Bluish, greenish,
Brownish?
a little.
Is he handsome?
It's difficult difficult to say. I mean, at times he is, and then again, at times he's not.
Would you like a piece of advice? Don't ever lose him in a crowd.
Why am I such an unconvincing liar? The fact is, I've never met him. Ever. Really. And yet I know him.
How?
Letters. Many, many letters.
Oh, he belonged to a Lonely Hearts Club.
Oh, no. I used to read the advertisements in the papers.
Who doesn't? Young man wants young lady. Young lady wants young man.
And then one day I saw his advertisement. Even then, I tried not to answer it, but it kept calling out to me.
He could be 75.
The advertisement said young man.
And you didn't even ask for a photograph?
I don't know his name or what he looks like, but I have a much more certain guide. I can tell exactly what he looks like inside. When I undertook this correspondence, little did I know I'd grow so fond. Little did I know our views would so correspond. He writes me what his feelings are, unsure, Robert, Chopin, Renoir. The more I read, the more I find we're one in mind and heart. I don't need to see his handsome profile. I don't need to see his manly frame. All I need to know is in each letter, each long revealing letter, I couldn't know him better if I knew his name. Oh, I know him so well, Ilona. I know he's a very successful person and terribly well educated. He's kind and gentle and soft-spoken. I know all this about him and so much more. It's just I've never met him, that's all. He writes his deepest thoughts to me,
But personal habits are more important than his looks. Supposing he grinds his teeth. Supposing he's a knuckle-cracker.
Good luck with your book. I don't need to see his handsome profile.
I'm taken in by someone's
Manly frame. I'm taken in by someone's frame. In each letter,
views
one long revealing letter. I couldn't. I hope you'd do much better if I knew his name. I knew his name. What's in a name?
Mr. Novak, I wonder if you can help me.
Yes, sir?
I'm looking for the Christmas decorations, but I don't see them.
Well, we haven't started them yet, Mr. Marichek. I was going to talk to you about them in a day or two.
In a day or two. Mr. Novak, I'm sick and tired of you running to me like a baby on every little matter that crops up.
Mr. Marichek, that's not fair.
Excuse me, George.
Kindly inform the staff that they will have to stay late tonight. Is that clear, even to you?
Yes, sir, perfectly clear. But I'm afraid I can't stay. I have an engagement.
Excuse me.
I'll stay tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday.
That won't be necessary, I assure you. We can manage splendidly without you. That's all, thank you.
That's not all. Mr. Marichek! For the last month, it seems I can't do anything right. Everything's changed. What is it? Is it me? Is it you? If my work is bad now, it's been bad for 15 years. Why the hell did you wait till now to start telling me?
How dare you raise your voice in my shop? Clumsy idiot.
You did that on purpose.
I had to stop that argument before you did something foolish like resigning.
Well, I'm not sure I appreciate that.
Oh, I didn't do it for you, Mr. Novak. I did it for me. Who knows, if you resign, your successor might take one look at me and say, what's that oaf doing in a fancy perfumery?
Ladislav, you're a very good shop assistant.
I'm an idiot. But at least I'm an idiot with a job. I am only one of several in a rather small perfumery, which is only one of several in the city, which is one of many cities in this country, which is only one of many countries which are on this continent, which is only one of 7 on this not-so-special planet, which is one of many in our solar system, which is only one of many solar systems in this vast and inconceivable affair that is the universe. So, in this infinite, incomprehensible scheme, if a dot called Marachek should scream at a speck called Sipos, what on earth does it matter? Oh, call me fool, that's all right with me. Here's my rule, never disagree. Where's my pride? Swallowed long ago, deep inside, where it doesn't show. Bowing, scraping, nodding, beaming, always humble, not an ounce of self-respect. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're so right, sir. Black is white, sir. Excuse me while I genuflect. Let me put it bluntly. I'm a coward with a wife and children to support. Actually, my creed is short and simple. 5 essential words, George. Do not lose your job.
Here's my card.
Ah, Miss T-Wall. Miss Ritter. Miss Ritter.
What?
This is going to be on the account. And there's the lady's name.
Just the name. After such a long conversation, no telephone number.
I don't need it. She's got mine.
Can I have a word with you all, please? Miss Balash. Mr. Marachek would like you all to stay on tonight.
Why?
To put up the Christmas decorations. Is that all right?
Yes.
I suppose so.
But of course.
Mr. Novak, I can't stay.
Why?
May I help you?
I have a previous engagement. You know I have a previous engagement.
I'm only following Mr. Marachek's instructions.
I can't stay.
You're not being very cooperative, Miss Balash.
Why did he have to pick this night of all nights? Or perhaps you picked it, Mr. Novak, because you knew I had a previous engagement.
I expect we'll be seeing you again, Miss T-Wall.
Thank you, madam. Please call again. Do call again, madam.
So sorry.
You know, I find it quite depressing that anyone could hate me that much.
I don't hate you. It's just that until you came here, this was a happy, peaceful place. Now, the whole atmosphere's changed. Everyone's cranky. Mr. Marachek's on the warpath.
It's not my fault. You're the one who's always starting things.
I'm the one. Can you deny you hadn't worked here 2 weeks before you started making very public, very humiliating remarks about me?
Only because you were going around calling me Miss Amalia Balash. You think I like that?
Do you think I liked you criticizing my socks, my ties, my fingernails?
Much better.
Must be the rudest, most difficult, worst-tempered girl in the world.
Well, Mr. Novak, hard at work as usual, I see. Is everything arranged for tonight?
Yes, sir, Miss Ritter, Mr. Sipos, and Mr. Kadayakan are out, of course.
What about Miss Balash?
She has an engagement.
An engagement? Well, I suppose you could hardly prevail upon her to stay when you're not going to.
Any other night, Mr. Marachek.
There seem to be a great many things, Mr. Novak, that interest you far more than your position in this shop.
Mr. Marachek, I'm devoted to this shop. I couldn't work harder here if it was my own, if I owned it.
Oh, if you owned it. Well, let me tell you something, my young friend. No matter what you do, you will never get your hands on this shop. Never. Not if I have to come down from heaven and stop you myself. Now, is that clear? Now, get away from me. Get away from me.
All right, Mr. Marachek, I will get away. And permanently.
I take that as your resignation.
That's exactly what it is.
Very well, I accept. Effective immediately. Miss Ritter will have your final pay. Miss Ritter, come on.
Is this the large size or is this the medium size?
Huh?
Mr. Novak, are you leaving?
Be good news for you, Miss Ballash. Very good news. I won't be arguing with you anymore. I've just resigned.
But why?
Matter of fact, I didn't have much choice.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Especially not that you're sorry. Let's not end our relationship on that false note. Goodbye, Miss Ballash.
Mr. Novak. May the condemned woman have one last word. I never meant you any harm, ever. You must believe that.
Believe you, Miss Ballash. And may I say, I sincerely hope you marry some nice young man and have many children, and for the sake of my successor in this job, I hope it's soon.
Hello?
Ladislav, have you got a pack of bicycles up there?
I don't see any.
Well, would you ask Mr. Kudai if he's got them?
Miss Ritter would like to know if you've got her icicles.
Icicles. Please tell her that's all I've been getting from her for several weeks.
Oh.
He says...
Yes, I heard him. Why else would I be laughing so uncontrollably?
Seepers, what do you think of a woman who goes with a man, tells him she loves him, and then suddenly drops him?
Before you answer that, Ladislav, what do you think of a man who breaks 3 dates with a girl in little over a week?
A little over a week?
8 days.
But I don't recall 3 dates.
You don't recall nothing. You never did.
Oh, Ilona, you are so wrong. I recall our evenings together. I recall them very well. Our private little booth at the Raskella, remember? Oh, come on, Ilona, let's go there tonight. You always loved the Raskella, the Chinese food, the gypsy fortune teller, the rumba band.
Is hard at play. We'll never get out of here till New Year's Day. So happy New Year. Come with me alone. Come with me, chérie. Mistletoe, I long for someone. Please tell me who. Like some divine, divining rod, it points straight to you. Together, Ilona, we generate a spark that's deny that it's there, Ilona.
what a rat you are. All right, then we go to the Rathskeller. And I hope you've got plenty of money, because I'm starving. Or is this going to be Dutch as usual?
No, no, no. My treat.
Oh.
You can all go home now. Well, go home.
But the work isn't finished, Mr. Marachek.
We'll have to finish it some other time.
Well, speaking for myself, Mr. Marachek, I wouldn't mind going on a little longer. You see, I'm just in the rhythm of it now.
Well, I want everyone out as soon as possible. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Marachek.
It's only 9:30.
9:30.
Pat?
Yes?
Good news.
What?
You've been reprieved. Mr. Marachek says we can go.
Oh, you're ready. I'll only be a minute.
Ilona. Darling. This is going to be a little difficult to explain to you, but, well, I won't be able to take you to the Rathskeller after all.
What?
Because, there's nothing I can do, darling. You see, the fact is, I thought we were going to be working late tonight, so well, I cancelled a previous appointment, but, now that we've finished early, I just got to keep it. You do understand, don't you? Oh, Ilona, trust me, we'll go to the Rathskeller another night soon. I promise. Now, let's see, today is Tuesday. Thursday, Friday. How about next Monday? Ilona? Shall we?
I resolve not to be so stupid.
Say your
I
studio before me, darling.
not to play these games. So
All right,
often
sweetheart.
I've been a silly stuff for Cupid. How often I've let him shoot me down in flames. I resolve not to be so trusting. It's high time that I awoke. Whatever I got up here is up here rusting. My feminine intuition is a joke. I must be cousin to a cat. I'd always wind up with a rat. I'm through with momentary thrills. I find I can't afford the best. I resolve not to blame the others just because I'm an easy mark. I want to know why I never meet their mothers. When men are concerned, I'm always in the dark. I must stop thinking with my skin. I will not be a mandolin that someone strums and puts away until he gets the urge to play. I resolve here and now I will be a different girl somehow. Will he like me when we meet? Will the shy and quiet girl he's going to see be the girl that he's imagined me to be? Will he like the girl he sees? If he doesn't, will he know enough to know that there's more to me than I may always show? Will he know that there's a world of love waiting to woo him? I'm hoping that his arms and ears won't misinform him. Will he like me? I don't know. All I know is that I'm tempted not to go. It's insanity for me to worry so. I'll try not to. Will he like me? He's just got to. Will he like me?
Satisfied.
George.
I have to talk to you. Will you come with me to the Café Imperial? It's urgent.
The Café Imperial?
She'll be there. Sitting alone. With a copy of Anna Karenina and a rose in it.
Your lady friend.
And I'll have a rose. Here.
Yes? Well, it's a very romantic picture, except for one thing.
What?
Well, what am I doing there?
Oh, you're going to give her this letter, which explains that I've been called away and that I'll write to her as soon as possible.
She won't be disappointed.
Well, she'd be more disappointed if she saw me the way I am tonight.
Well, I'll do it, of course.
Good.
I don't understand.
Let's hurry. Well, I know she got tired of waiting and went home long ago.
Come in, please.
Is it safe to talk?
Yes, everyone's gone. Yes, sit down.
As I told you on the phone, sir, we've completed our investigation.
Well, who sent this to me?
I'm afraid we don't know that. Anonymous letters are difficult to track down. But we have been following Mrs. Marachek, and there's no doubt she's involved with one of your staff, just as the letter said.
There's no doubt?
She's been going to his flat, number 17 Court Street. Each visit is listed. Would you like us to investigate Mr. Kadai now?
Who?
Kadai, Stephen Kadai, that's his name.
But I thought it was...
Stephen Kadai, number 17 Court Street, second floor, flat C.
Kadai! Well, it's just that... Well, he hardly knows Mrs. Marachek. And there's another member of staff, a young man who's been to our house many times, and I naturally thought...
If you'd like to read the report, sir.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Is there anything else, sir? Then I'll say good night.
Oh, yes, good night, Mr. Gill.
Good night, sir.
Hello, this is... Oh, hello, my love. Oh, yes, I know. I see. You'll be out late, then? No, I just feel a bit tired. Of course, of course. No, I won't wait up. Well, so do I. Bye-bye.
I'm going home now. Good night, Mr. Marachek. Mr. Marachek! Don't! Don't, Mr. Marachek!
Fingers! Do that again. That's the end of your career. Good evening, sir. Good evening, madame. Don't you know we try to preserve a romantic atmosphere? Lovely to see you again, Mr. List. That's what all our patrons expect. So every jarring note will be ruthlessly checked. Gently does it try to preserve a romantic atmosphere. Think of all the love affairs we assist. What more noble calling is there than ours? Tending each new beautiful bud of love, making sure each delicate seedling flowers. Treat each tryst and rendezvous as your own, bearing in mind the gravity of your task. All these lovers want is one shining hour. Is that such a terrible lot to ask? Look around and see for yourself the romantic atmosphere.
Victor!
Stephanie.
That's what all our patrons demand. That's the reason why they're here. Oh, they all come here just for the mood. And if you don't believe me, try tasting our food. Gently does it try to preserve a romantic atmosphere. Such behavior won't be allowed, but every now and then we just get the wrong crowd. Gently does it try to preserve a romantic atmosphere.
Well, where's the rose?
What?
The rose, where is it? That's a rose?
It's been in my pocket all day.
Let me.
Oh, no.
Well, now that you've gone this far, go the rest of the way.
No, just give her the letter, please. Thank you, Ladislav. I really appreciate this.
Well, wait a minute. At least, I mean, let's take a look at her.
You look. She's old, isn't she? Old and ugly. Fat.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Well, there must be something wrong with her, terribly wrong.
Why?
Well, I can see it in your face.
Well, no, the fact is she's a very attractive girl.
Well, she really is?
Absolutely.
But will I think so?
Yes, well, of course, that's a matter of personal taste. Let's see now. What does she look like?
Some film star?
No, more than anything else. I'd say she looks like someone in the shop.
Wait, in our shop?
Hmm. As a matter of fact, you know who? Miss Ballash. She looks very much like her.
Miss Ballash? Amalia I thought you said attractive.
Oh, well, I think so, but of course, if you don't care for Miss Ballash, you're certainly not going to like this girl.
Well, they're that similar?
See for yourself.
Miss Ballash. I can't be in love with Miss Ballash.
How do you know till you've tried?
Well, I know her. There's some mistake, Ladislav. There's got to be.
Well, talk to her. Find out.
She's not, dear friend. She's not. She can't be. Can she?
Go on.
Ballash?
Mr. Novak, what are you doing here?
Celebrating. How about you?
I'm waiting for someone.
Anyone in particular?
Of course. What kind of a girl do you think I am? Well, never mind, Mr. Novak. I know.
Oh, may I sit down for a minute?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, you won't help me celebrate?
Celebrate?
My freedom, Miss Ballash. Just think of it. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and I can sleep as late as I like.
Mr. Novak, I told you, that chair and the glass happen to be reserved.
Well, won't you even have one quick drink with me?
I can't.
One small farewell drink.
Well, if it's very small and very quick.
Thank you, Miss Ballash. wine.
Mr. Novak, have you come here to spy on me?
Spy on you?
Did you come here to make sure that I really have a date? That I wasn't just inventing an excuse not to work tonight?
Spalash, who would I be spying for? Maricheks?
Mr. Novak, if you don't leave this table immediately, I'm going to call the waiter.
You say you're meeting someone here. Someone you've known very long?
Mr. Novak, will you please leave?
Well, it doesn't seem right for a man to keep a girl waiting all alone in such a public place.
Will you go?
Even if he's an old friend, a dear friend.
I don't care to discuss it with you. What if he's already been here, seen us together and gone? I'll never forgive you.
What's this?
Put that back.
Anna Karenina?
Yes. It's a book by Leo Tolstoy, a Russian. Now, will you please put it back?
What's this for?
That's none of your business.
Spalash, is it possible you've never even met this man?
At the count of 5, I'll scream. So you'd better go, and soon. What?
I only want to talk to you.
Don't forget I've had some wine and nothing to eat since noon, too.
We could go somewhere and have a sandwich, maybe.
Dante once described all the depths of hell. If I have my way, you will know them well. 3.
Miss Balash.
You are easily the most insensitive man alive.
You surprised me.
I'm sorry, but I'm fighting for my life. 4. Wonderful. Will you go? Then 5.
Are you trying to ruin me, lady? I warn you. Get out. That's it. Get out.
Now, just a minute.
You two, get out. Screaming like lunatics. That's it. Get out.
How dare you speak to a lady that way?
Ladies, do not scream in cafes.
Why, I'm afraid you don't understand. You see, there was a fly in the wine.
What?
I said a fly in the wine.
Shh. Where is it? Show it to me.
I'm afraid that's quite impossible. You see, the lady swallowed it.
You swallowed it?
Wouldn't you scream?
Good God.
Waiter.
Thank God.
Really, Mr. Novak, no matter how much you despise me or how unhappy you are, haven't you had enough revenge? I don't understand you.
How could you, Miss Balash? You've never listened to me. You've never really looked at me.
How wrong you are, Mr. Novak. I'm looking at you now, and shall I tell you what I see? I see a smug, pompous, petty tyrant who's very sure of himself and very ambitious. But I see him 10 years from now, selling shampoo. And 20 years from now, selling shampoo. And 30 years from now, still selling shampoo. Because basically, do you know what he is? He's not very bright, not very handsome, not very young man with balding hair and the personality of a python. Mr. Novak, I didn't mean all those things. Mr. Novak!
Take my advice, madame. Do not call him. He'll come back. That's all right, thank you, Yasha. You can go now. It's almost closing time.
Closing time, but I'm still waiting for someone. He'll have a rose in his lapel.
To match the one in your book. Is he very late?
Over 2 hours.
You're a very patient young lady.
I've waited all my life. It's 2 hours.
That is on the house. For luck.
Thank you. You know, this is a very nice restaurant.
We try to preserve a romantic atmosphere.
Charming, romantic, the
discreetly sympathetic when they see the rose and the book. I make believe nothing is wrong. How long can I pretend? Please make it right. Don't break my heart. Don't let it end, dear
Funding for this program was provided by a grant from Exxon Corporation, by this station and other public television stations.
Act 2 of She Loves Me will begin in less than 1 minute. First, this look at tonight's Masterpiece Theater.
Want me to spell it for you? Someone's been writing me poems. Love poems.
Louisa conspires with her secret admirer this week on the Duchess of Duke Street.
Those crazy beggars still looking at us.
Let's play a trick on them. Don't miss the Duchess of Duke Street this week on Masterpiece Theater.
Tonight at 9 o'clock. Season's greetings from 13.
I'm here. I'm back. Oh, good. You can take this away now.
Well, I did everything you told me to.
You went to the shop?
Here are the keys.
What did you tell them about last night?
Well, that you shot yourself accidentally. You were cleaning your gun.
Oh, good.
Then I delivered your message to Mr. Novak. Well, that is, I left it with his landlady. He was out.
Very good.
Oh, and there's something else. Miss Ballash is sick. Her mother called her. She won't be in today. And that's everything.
Arpad, you are a credit to your profession.
Why, thank you, Mr. Maracek. You know, I'm not afraid of responsibility. I welcome it. In fact, I welcome a lot more.
Well, I'll bear it in mind.
And I can't help thinking. I mean, Christmas is almost here. We're going to be very short-handed in the shop.
We'll have to manage.
Oh, but one more assistant would certainly come in handy.
What is it? You know someone who wants a job?
Mr. Maracek, you've got to stop thinking of me as just a delivery boy. In a suit with a tie, I look old. And I've been training myself to be a sales assistant. Training hard for 2 years.
Oh, you've been training.
Although it's something you have never thought about, Mr. Maracek, try me. You need a man who knows the business inside out, Mr. Maracek, try me. You need help, for I have never spoken. And why bring someone in when I'm already broken? In this emergency, I wouldn't let you down, Mr. Maracek, try me. Oh, I can see by the uncertain way you frown that you've asked yourself, why me? I'll make December a month to remember. Mr. Maracek, why not try me?
All right, this cream is sour. Very sour. Take it back.
You wish to return this jar, madam? Certainly right you are, madam. You say it smells like a drowned cat. It does at that at Maracek's, madam. We claim with pride the customer must be satisfied. The customer must be satisfied. By the way, we have a special sale on autumn heather. Let me spray some on your hands. Here, we'll smell it together. I'll take it. Certainly, madam. Oh, Miss Ritter. Miss Ritter. That's 20 and 6 for the autumn heather, 8 and 3 for the cream, 32 even for that bottle of Mermaid's Dream, 1 and 3 for the eyebrow pencil, 9 for our shampoo, and then for the joy of bringing back, that's 4 and 2 for you. That's a total of 98, there's 4 and 2 for the jar. Out of 100, here's your change, 5 and 2, there you are. The biggest sale in several years, I believe. I would gladly grow a mustache if you'd like, Mr. Maracek. Try me. I would even think of giving up my bike, Mr. Maracek. Try me. Though I speak shyly, I recommend me highly. Mr. Maracek, why not try me?
Very impressive. You even managed to shortchange me. George.
Mr. Maracek. What happened?
He shot himself accidentally. He was cleaning his gun.
Ah, but would you please leave us alone now?
But what about my proposition, Mr. Maracek?
Well, I'll think about it.
Are you in very much pain, Mr. Maracek?
The only place that doesn't hurt me is my left shoulder. It's where I shot myself.
Is there anything I can do?
George, if I could stand up, do you know what I'd do? I'd walk over, take you by the hand, and beg you to forgive me.
I forgive you, Mr. Maracek.
I did a terrible thing to you, George, and there's no excuse. Well, perhaps there's one excuse. The jealousy of an old man.
Jealousy?
Poor George, you must be the only man in the world who's ever had an affair without knowing it.
An affair?
You have been having an affair with my wife.
With your wife? With Mrs. Maracek?
I have all the facts.
But it's not true.
Well, of course it's not true. I know that now. But a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know.
I can't believe it. Mrs. Maracek and I... Did you really think that...
Well, that's just the point. I didn't think.
Oh, I can't get over it.
Well, George. Starting from today, if you're willing, I want you to take over the shop.
Oh, of course I will. At least keep the doors open until you're well enough to come back.
Thank you, George. Well, you better be going now. Oh, you'll be very short-staffed today. Our Pat tells me Miss Ballish isn't well.
Miss Ballish, not well?
So you'll have to manage without her. Oh, and without one other member of staff, too. Mr. Kadai, I want you to sack him.
Sack him?
Just give him 2 weeks' salary.
I didn't realize Mr. Kadai was that unsatisfactory. He works hard.
But at the wrong things.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, if you ever bump into Mrs. Maracek, perhaps she'll explain it to you. Now, it's time you were at work.
I'll come back tonight and give you a full report.
Thank you, my boy. I'll be here.
Who's there?
Miss Ballish?
Mr. Novak.
I was in the neighborhood.
What do you want? I'm not feeling very well today.
Well, I know you're not. That's why I'm here.
You know, I was sick. How?
Well, this is going to come as somewhat of a shock to you, Miss Ballish, but the fact is, I'm back at Maracek's again.
Back at Maracek's?
As of this morning.
And you've come to see if I'm really sick, is that it?
No.
So you can tell everyone there's not a thing wrong with me?
No.
That I just don't care about my job?
No.
Well, Mr. Novak, you're not going to get that chance. What time is it? I won't be very late. Where's my other shoe? Help me find my other shoe. Don't just stand there like that. Where's my shoe?
I think you should lie down.
Where's my shoe? I can't leave until I do. Will you give me my hat? Where's my shoe?
Please, Miss Ballish, lie down.
I hate to disappoint you. Now that you have your hopes up, thrilled to be doing something mean.
Miss Ballish, do be sensible.
Just tell me if it's cold out. Come help me pick a sweater.
Now, Miss Ballas, you're sick and you ought to lie down.
My shoe! That's a sneaky thing to do. You don't want me to go, do you? I can see right through you. Where's my shoe?
You shouldn't be on your feet.
My shoe!
Be a good girl and go back to...
If I were a shoe, where would I have gotten to? Now, if I were a shoe, I'd be there.
Please, Miss Ballas, lie down.
Cold. Yes, you told me it was cold. Tell me what kind of dress should I wear?
You have fever,
I couldn't wear a dress. That wouldn't fit my mood now. I feel like wearing something gay.
Ballas, you're hysterical.
I'm feeling so much better. I feel so gay and giddy. What show and I'll be on my way.
You are going to bed, which is where you should be.
See, there is nothing wrong with me. I am going. You can't stop me. Stop it, please stop me.
You're not leaving this room. You're going nowhere but back to I brought you something.
What?
Vanilla ice cream. It's the best thing in the world when you're sick. Is there a spoon?
In the kitchen. It's from Linda's. My mother works at Linda's. Maybe she served you.
Small, stout woman?
No. The image of me, everyone says, only much younger looking. Something wrong with this ice cream.
There is?
It's salty.
Are you surprised, all those tears falling into it?
Oh. I'd better cry in the other direction, then.
Miss Ballas, I'll never forgive myself for last night at the cafe. I must have been drunk.
Please don't mention it, Mr. Novak. Anyway, you were right. When you guessed I'd never met the man I was going to meet.
Did he turn up?
I waited till closing.
I feel very responsible.
Oh, no. Please, Mr. Novak, there could have been so many reasons. I mean, if he cared at all, he would have explained. He would have written a letter, a note, 2 words, anything.
Miss Ballas, he will write.
Don't think so.
No, he will. I'm not just guessing. I know it definitely.
How?
He told me himself.
Himself? When? How? Mr. Novak, tell me.
Well, let's see now. You know, when I left the cafe last night, I had the oddest feeling that someone was following me.
A young man?
Well, a man. And when I was almost home, he came up and started asking questions about you and me.
What sort of questions?
Well, let's see. I think the first thing he said was, did you just leave the Café Imperial? Do you want to know what I said, too?
Of course.
I said yes.
And then? And then?
And then he said, that girl you were sitting with, is she a special friend of yours? And I said, no, as a matter of fact, she has an appointment with someone else tonight. I'm remembering quite well now.
He did come after all.
And then I remember he looked quite sad.
He looked sad?
Quite sad. And then he said, I know she has an appointment. It's with me. But I've got to go away now on urgent business.
Urgent business? Oh, is he a businessman, do you think, or a shop owner?
Well, it's hard to say. He certainly looked well-fed.
Well-fed?
Well, to judge by appearances. Of course, that's not so unusual in a man his age. Oh, you have some wonderful books here, Miss Ballas. Balzac, Zola, de Maupassant. I'd like to borrow them sometime.
What do you mean, a man his age?
I beg your pardon?
How old is he?
Well, you realize it was a dark night, and he'd had an exhausting day. Possibly if he'd had some hair.
Do you mean he's bald?
Well, does that matter? I thought you were in love with him.
I am in love with him, Mr. Novak, I am. It's just that I thought, well, I hoped.
quite right. As if appearance makes any difference. It doesn't matter what he looks like, because I know deep down inside there's magic. And that's a glory beyond estimation.
You put it very well, Miss Balazs.
I feel very well. I feel marvelous. Thank you, Mr. Novak. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you for my life. It's very dark in here. I'm going to write to him this very minute.
Oh, I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
And as soon as I finish, believe me, I'll get straight back to work.
Oh, no, no. No, there's no need for that. Take the rest of the day off. Relax. Read a book.
You're very kind.
Well, goodbye, Miss Balazs.
Bye. Mr. Novak? May I tell you something? Quite sincerely. I like you, Mr. Novak. Really. I like you.
Well, thank you, Miss Balazs. See you in the morning.
In the morning. Dear friend,
I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way. But together, you and I will laugh at last night someday. Ice cream, he brought me ice cream, vanilla ice cream, imagine that. Ice cream, and for the first time we were together without a spat. Friendly, he was so friendly, that isn't like him. I'm simply stunned. The wonders never cease, the wonders never cease. It's been the most peculiar day. The wonders never cease, the wonders never cease.
Oh. Where was I? I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way, but together you and I will have a last night someday.
I sat there waiting in that cafe and never guessing that you were fat, that you were near, you were outside looking bold.
Dear friend,
I am so sorry about last night. Last night I was so nasty. Well, he deserved it, but even so, that George, he's not like this George. This is a new George that I don't know. Somehow it all reminds me of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When right before my eyes, a man that I despise has turned into a man I like. And strange as it may seem, it's almost like a dream. He came to offer me
She loves me, and to my amazement, I love it, knowing that she loves me. She loves me, true she doesn't show it. How could she, when she doesn't know it? Yesterday she loathed me, bah! Now today she likes me, ha! And tomorrow, tomorrow,
didn't want her. I want her, that's the thing that matters. And matters are improving daily. Yesterday I loathed her, bah! Now today I love her, ha! And tomorrow, I'm tingling, such delicious tingles. I'm trembling, what the hell does that mean? I'm freezing, that's because it's cold out. But still I'm incandescent, and like some adolescent, I'd like to scrawl on every wall I see. She loves me. She loves me.
Sit down. Sit down.
With apologies to Mr. Marichek's chair.
Yeah, he's not too impressive. Too young, too skinny.
I think he's beautiful.
Excuse me interrupting, but am I to run this emporium entirely by myself?
Which reminds me, I want a word with you, Mr. Kadai. Miss Ritter and Mr. Cephas, would you leave us, please?
Isn't that wonderful?
A miracle. An absolute miracle. A word with Mr. Kadai.
Oh, who cares about him? That's all in the past.
It is.
Ever since last night. You remember what a silly, confused girl I was last night?
You were?
Ever so. I didn't know what to do or where to go. And somehow, my feet started to walk down the street and across the bridge and past the Metropole Cinema. And do you know where?
No, where?
Right into the library.
The library?
Can you imagine? Me going into the library.
Well, how did you like it?
Seen such a place. So many books. So much marble. And so quiet. Started to reach for a book, but my hand stopped. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen. And then a kindly voice, oh, a gentle voice, whispered, "Pardon me."
Pardon me?
And there was this dear, sweet, clearly respectable, thickly bespectacled man who stood by my side and quietly said to me, "Ma'am, don't mean to intrude, but I was just wondering, are you in need of some help?" I said no. Yes, I am. The next thing I know, sipping hot chocolate and telling my troubles to Paul, whose tender brown eyes kept sending compassionate looks. A trip to the library had made a new girl of me, and suddenly I can see the magic of books. And he gave me a smile that I couldn't resist. And I knew at once how much I liked this oculist.
Oculist?
You know what this dear, sweet, slightly bespectacled gentleman said to me next? He said he could solve this problem of mine. I said, how? He said if I liked, he'd willingly read to me some of his favorite things. I said when? He said now. His novel approach seemed highly suspicious and possibly dangerous too. I told myself, wait, think, dare you go up to his flat? What happens if things go wrong? It's obvious he's quite strong. He read to me all night long. Now how about that? It's hard to believe how truly domestic and happily hopeful I feel. I picture my Paul there reading
Miss Ritter, Mr. Seapost, could I have a word with you, please?
You, spoke to Mr. Kadai?
Yes, and I may as well tell you Mr. Kadai is leaving us immediately, Mr. Marichek's orders.
Why? I mean, it's nice, but what happened?
Well, I'm afraid I can't tell you.
I bet I know. I warned him they'd catch up with him. Do you know that half the perfume and toilet water in this shop ended up in his bathroom? I mean, he told me.
Oh, incidentally, now that you're back and everything's straightened out, I might as well tell you I sent the anonymous letter.
Ladislav? What anonymous letter?
You mean you didn't know? What did you think caused all the trouble? I wrote to Mr. Marichek about his wife and one of the staff.
I don't believe you.
Well, I was desperate. Business was so bad. And I thought to myself, if he fires Mr. Kadai, who deserves it, he might not fire me, who doesn't.
You realize how much trouble you've caused?
Oh, I'll regret it till the day I die, but who would have dreamt that Mr. Marichek would think I meant you?
Well, I hope you've learned your lesson.
Oh, I have. In the next letter, name the names.
We'll continue this conversation later.
I was afraid of that.
Would you arrange 2 weeks' pay for Mr. Kadai?
My pleasure.
Mr. Seapost, Miss Ritter, guess what?
What?
I've been promoted.
Huh?
Mr. Marichek has made me a sales assistant.
Well, congratulations, Arpad.
Congratulations, Alpad.
Oh, I'm not Arpad anymore.
You're not? Who are you?
Mr. László.
Why László?
Why? It's my last name.
Huh?
Well, that's just wonderful. Stefan Kadai replaced by a delivery boy.
Place?
Yes, Arpad, I'm leaving. I just resigned. I wouldn't stay here another day.
You couldn't. You've just been fired.
Fired? Believe that if it makes you happy. But you're not going to be happy for very much longer. For any day now, that door will close for the last time. And then take a small walk over to Hammersmith's.
But it's closed.
Only temporarily, for renovations. You see, they're having a new owner, Stefan Kadai.
Oh, some owner.
Nevertheless, it's true. I'm closing the deal tomorrow morning. Ilona believes me, don't you, darling?
Of course I do. And here's your down payment.
It's been grand knowing you, grand knowing you, grand being your friend. You've been kind, loyal, and so generous, right down to the end. Please don't grieve watching me leave. That would be much too painful to stand. It's been fun, now I must run, but it's been grand, perfectly grand. Ilona, farewell, chérie, be brave, chin up. It's been sublime, you mustn't waste a precious moment over me. You don't have time. Just remember when you're lonely and blue, there's a hollow in my pillow for you. And Seapost, what can I say? Ah, Seapost, no tears, be gay, you know, old friend. I'm in your debt. I owe you more than I can possibly repay. I won't forget. Give your wife a little kiss from Kodai. I've never met her, but I will by and by. Though I hate leaving you, hate leaving your warm, intimate club, It's a small pleasure, but I'll treasure each warm, intimate snub. It's been grand, let me say, and let me say au revoir, not goodbye. For it's grand knowing that you'll be working for your friend. Good night.
Good morning, Mr. Novak.
Good morning, Miss Balash. How are you today?
Ready for thousands of customers.
Only 12 days to go.
To Christmas, 12 days to Christmas, plenty of time to do your Christmas shopping. These are the people who shop in time, plenty of time. These are the people with time to spare who shop at their convenience. 12 days to Christmas, 12 days to Christmas. Look at the way they do their Christmas shopping. They can go shopping and still remain coincident. These are the people we envy and the people that we hate. And
Thank you, we'll call again, thank you.
Quite a day, Mr. Novak.
Certainly was, Miss Balash.
Oh, thank you for the book. It was excellent.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Mind if I walk you to the bus stop?
No, not at all.
9 days to Christmas, 9 days to Christmas. Still enough time to do your Christmas shopping. These are the people who shop in time, still enough time. Sensible people who organize the time at their disposal. 9 days to Christmas, 9 days to Christmas. Still enough time to do your Christmas shopping. These are the people who plan their days wisely and well. These are the people who shop in time and they can go to hell. And they post their packages out in time.
In August. Thank you, we'll call again, thank you.
Good night, Mr. Novak.
Are you in a very great hurry, Miss Balash?
No, not at all.
Well, I thought a cup of coffee on the way to the bus.
I'd like that, Mr. Novak.
4 days to Christmas, 4 days to Christmas. Just enough time to do your Christmas shopping. These are the people who shop in time, just in time, barely in time. These are the people who calculate with clinical precision. 4 days to Christmas, 4 days to Christmas. These are the folks who never waste a second. Full of agility, efficiency, loaded with gold. Never too early and never late and never worst of all. And there comes a ride on the 24th.
The 24th. Thank you, we'll call again, thank you. 1 day to Christmas, 1 day to Christmas. Not enough time to do our Christmas shopping. We're not the shop who peaked in time. We're not the sheep who popped in time. We're not the people who shopped in time, not enough time. We are the people who always wait until it's much too late. Oh, 1 day to Christmas, 1 day to Christmas. How will we ever do our Christmas shopping? Why do we ever delay so long? Who can recall? Some of the family may not get a Christmas gift at all. Thank you, we'll call again, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Here it is.
Bad. Not bad. It's at least 18 inches longer than last year.
Oh, if only every night were Christmas Eve. I'm not sure I could take it. I haven't stopped for a minute.
I served 53 customers personally.
What a pity Mr. Marachek couldn't be here.
Well, I'll go round to the hospital tonight and take this with me. Oh, it's coming. He's going to invite me home for Christmas Eve.
Oh, splendid.
Why splendid? I can't go. This is the night she's finally meeting dear friend.
But your dear friend.
That's just the point.
Well, I give up. It's too complicated for me. You want to untangle it? Shoot yourself.
Amalia, my friend's coming to pick me up. Will you let me know if he arrives? Mr. Novak? Mother and I would be very happy if you'd spend Christmas Eve with us.
Well, Miss Balazs...
It's a very special Christmas Eve. You know who's going to be there? Dear friend.
Oh, but I certainly don't want to intrude.
Intrude? No, you'd be helping. After all, you've met him. You know him. And you're so alike. Really. You could help when the conversation gets too deep for me. Please, Mr. Novak.
Well, I just hope this isn't a mistake, Miss Balazs.
I know it isn't.
Mr. Marachek! Well, look who's here, Mr. Marachek!
Where else would one be on Christmas Eve?
Merry Christmas,
Merry
Mr.
Christmas,
Marachek.
Merry Christmas.
Though I heard your voice. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Marachek, such a surprise.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Seapas.
Thank you.
Will you please fetch me 6 cups?
Of course.
Oh, champagne. Can I open it? I love opening champagne bottles.
Can I help?
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Mr. Marachek?
Oh, fine. Excellent.
A goblet?
Oh, nice. Shall I pour?
Of course. Oh, it's good. It's very good to be here in the shop, to be back home. Thank you.
What's the toast, Mr. Marachek?
Let me see. The shop, Christmas Eve, all of us together.
All of us together.
Merry Christmas?
Merry
Christmas. George, tell me, what would you say to a gala dinner? We'll go to some nice restaurant, Weber's perhaps. Huh?
Well, I wish I could, Mr. Marachek, but I've been invited by Miss Balazs.
Oh, well, say no more about it. My boy, don't give it another thought.
I think it's... He looks like... Oh, it is.
He's here. Miss Ritter's friend.
Look. Isn't he handsome?
Intelligent looking.
He's got beautiful eyes. That's because he's an oculist. And tonight, when he asks me to marry him, I'm going to say yes. Tonight? But I didn't realize. Really, Alona, I had no idea. Neither does he. Well, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh.
You. Well, Mr. Marachek, thank you very much for the champagne. And now my wife and her children are waiting for me. And my wife's sister and her children, and God knows who else. Good night.
Good night. Harvard.
Yes, sir?
Tell me, are you busy this evening?
Well, no, sir.
Yes, you are. You're having dinner at Weber's.
Weber's? Oh, what is it?
George, Arpad and I are going out for a night on the town. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Miss Balazs. Merry Christmas, Mr. Novak.
Merry Christmas, Arpad.
I'm going to Weber's.
Tell me, Mr. László, is there anything special you'd like for Christmas?
It's too much to hope for.
But what is it?
But I won't get it anyway.
Well, at least tell me.
Well, what I'd like really more than anything is a motorcycle.
You're right, my boy, you won't get it.
I'll carry those. Cigarette box.
Well,
I know you hate them, but, well, I've always rather liked them. And I thought as a gift for dear friend.
You know, Miss Balash, I don't hate these boxes nearly as much as I used to. In fact, I wouldn't mind owning one myself.
You wouldn't?
If only to remind me of the first day you came here, remember? I'll never forget it. What kind of a box, madam? A chocolate box, and functional, very functional.
Did I really sound like that?
You sounded irresistible. As a matter of fact, I remember thinking that's the kind of girl I could almost fall in love with.
But you didn't say anything.
How could I? I knew how you felt about me.
But you didn't. Really, you didn't. I was very attracted to you. More than attracted. What a shame we never spoke up.
I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way. But together, you and I will laugh at last night someday.
Dear friend, it's really true then. It's what I hoped for, that it was you.
Dear friend, I had to tell you I couldn't stand it until you knew. 2 weeks, I've known for 2 weeks. I was so tempted, I didn't dare. I wanted you to know
That it
I thought you might have
to tell the
guessed.
truth, I couldn't wait another day.
Funding for this program was provided by a grant from Exxon Corporation, by this station and other public television stations.
We are here in Sheldon Harnick's apartment with composer Jerry Bach, lyricist Sheldon Harnick, and star Barbara Cook, discussing the Broadway musical She Loves Me, a show that opened in New York on April 23rd, 1963, to generally favorable notices. It ran 302 performances and was based on Shop Around the Corner, Ernst Lubitsch's 1940s MGM film, which itself was based on a Hungarian play by Miklós László. In discussing She Loves Me, I think we have to talk about the fact that it is a cult musical, one of those very strange phenomenons in the musical theater that occurs once every so often, a show that does not run a tremendously long time, but is very popular, a show that people want to always revive and always want to see and always want to hear the songs from. What is a cult musical?
Well, She Loves Me had the, I think we can look back on it, it had the makings of a cult musical during its run, because people who saw it, particularly theater people, adored it. And I got more mail, personal mail, notes of thanks and love letters about the show from people than possibly any other show that I've been connected with, except maybe Fiddler on the Roof. And yet, the show was not working for general audiences at that time. So a cult musical apparently is something that appeals very strongly to a small but dedicated group of people.
Jerry, how did you decide what type of music you wanted to write for this score?
Well, the key was Hungarian, the word Hungarian. And that is, you know, very general, mind you, but it gave me a sound, a shape, a period, and a feeling that I began to string melodic notions and guesses around that kind of instinct. Europeans, particularly Hungarian. Not that all the songs are Hungarian, but that gave me a platform to take off, from which to take off.
I would also imagine that whether this was a conscious decision or not, the word romantic must have entered, because it's a highly lyrical and highly romantic
Well,
score.
I equate Hungarian with romantic.
He gave me a tape with a lot of music on it, and by the time I got the tape, I had been studying both the original play by Miklós László, and I knew the film, which I loved. Joe Masteroff had given us certain scenes, and by going through that, I knew there were certain moments which appealed to me so much, I wanted to start with them. I thought they'd be great fun to work on. I don't remember what they were, but when Jerry gave me a tape with music on it, I listened to the tape, and as almost invariably happened, there were moments on the tape that coincided with the moments that I wanted to try and work on. For instance, one of them, he had done the music for the opening, which was an overture which segued, which just flowed right into the first scene, and it was so charming, I had an idea for it that I think that was the first thing I started working on. But that was a wonderful way for me to get started, because I didn't have to shape the lyrics. The music was there to determine the shape.
Was that unusual for your collaboration?
No, it was
up to that point.
Invariable.
No, that's
how
we worked together.
Yeah. Then at a certain point, when there was no existent music yet for something I wanted to say, then I would write lyrics first, and Jerry.
To the question, what comes first in the music or the lyrics, in our case, for the first half of the adventure, the music comes first. For the probably most important part, the lyrics begin to come first, because the requirements begin to become more specific. The needs are words to shape the characters, to express the characters. So we manage, fortunately, to be able to work both ways.
Barbara, do you remember the first call that you got about She Loves Me?
You mean about auditioning?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I remember it was very, very cold when we were auditioning. And I read one day, I remember that after I'd gotten the role, I auditioned for it several times, if I remember correctly. And after I had gotten the role, there was a great difficulty in casting somebody for Daniel Massey's role. One of the people who read was Tony Perkins.
Right.
Who who was charming to work with, I must say, even in that little way. A lot of people tried out for that role.
But you did audition several times, though.
I think so, yeah. It was a long process.
We just
if I remember
wanted
correctly.
to hear her sing as often.
I also remember something that, I don't know whether this will bother you if I say it or not, but because of the nature of the ingenue roles that I'd seen you play, I thought of you as being off stage as an onstage ingenue, as very pure and very demure. And once you'd been hired, I remember you sat with us during the casting sessions, and as other people came out. And when people came out who really weren't very good, I was surprised and delighted to find that you had a kind of peppery tongue. It demolished the vision of that simpering ingenue forever for me.
Did the show break any new ground for you from what you had done in the past in the musical theater?
I think very much so. Compared to the shows we had written, I think She Loves Me was a totally new adventure. We had always instinctively felt like writing the integrated, so-called integrated musical. And this was an opportunity for us to really explore that in depth. Thanks a great deal to Joe Masteroff, who once finished the book said, take it over, do as much, musicalize it as much as you possibly can. He had no ego about salvaging scenes, lines, jokes. His attitude, which became our unified attitude, was to absorb most of that play into music.
He had never done a musical, and he said, how do I do it? And since we didn't know how to give him specific directions, we said, why don't you just write a play? Make it shorter than you would ordinarily, because we're going to have to fill in the time with songs and there'll be dances. So he did. He just wrote it and said, well, I don't know where the songs are, but use whatever you want. And partly because of the nature of Joe's writing, and partly because of the nature of the story itself, the show was just called for music all over the place. And in fact, we wrote too much. And on the road, if you remember, we had to cut about, am I right in remembering, about 45 minutes of music? Or maybe it wasn't that much.
I don't remember that. I know that quite a bit was cut. You were talking about what was it like out of town.
Yeah.
And from the standpoint of a cast member, one of the most demoralizing things that can happen when you're out of town, I've never been in a show where I didn't work really hard out of town, but so often you get the feeling that you're not getting anywhere. You make changes and either they don't work or they're worse than what you had before. And the marvelous thing about being in this production was that I can't speak for everybody else, but I had the feeling constantly that we were progressing and moving ahead, and from time to time people would come up with solutions that were not only good but enormously exciting. The leaves and the snow, you know, all those effects, that kind of thing, and the transition from ice cream into...
She Loves Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those things that are the epitome of what musical comedy, musical theater ought to be.
We had to discover that.
Not only did they work, but they were... It was exciting to be around when they were discovered. Yeah.
One of the things that Harold Prince brings to a show is his own sense of excitement, and you all feel like you're part of a wonderful adventure. So it's an ambiance that is very, very stimulating, and it's easy to produce, because when you do something, Hal is so excited about it.
I guess your love for She Loves Me is clear, since you're still singing those songs today, and singing them as passionately.
People ask me all the time to sing them, too.
I do.
Nobody sings, I have to get this straight, nobody sings Dear Friend like Sheldon.
That's probably
I've
true.
always said that. Really, it's so beautiful the way you do it. I remember trying very hard to sing like you. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
Yes, and I remember trying to lower your range so you could, but it just didn't work, did it?
Remember I tried?
Yes.
What can I do to
Yes.
sound more like Sheldon?
You went into writing She Loves Me on the heels of winning a Pulitzer Prize for a show that you had written previously, Fiorello. What was it like winning a Pulitzer Prize for writing a Broadway musical?
It was a very happy event, naturally. It was like an unexpected birthday party. And But in terms of how it affected our work, I don't think it did. I don't think we thought about it much.
It was a delightful surprise. We all let out a yip when it happened. I had a problem with it, though, because you must remember that Fiorello was my first Broadway hit, and I had been largely insolvent up to then. Along with the Pulitzer Prize, there's a cash award. And this was very important to me. George Abbott, who was our director on Fiorello, thought that we should all donate what we had won to some charity. And I went through the tortures of the damned before I let that money out of my hands. So that was my main memory with the Pulitzer Prize.
But it must have been staggering to have your first Broadway hit and then to win the Pulitzer Prize on top of that.
Well, one of the things I remember that struck me was that Jerry, our first show was a disaster called The Body Beautiful, which had an absolutely brilliant score and an underestimated book, but it was a disaster. We ran about 5 weeks, and I thought, that's the end of my career. Nobody will ever hire me again, and nobody will want us as a team. Within a year, we had not only done another musical, but had won a Pulitzer Prize, and it said something about the vagaries of the musical theater. Something frightening and wonderful.
The Long Search looks at an unusual mixture of religion and culture. West meets East, next.